morning and welcome to W Talk. And today we are talking about a very important topic, something that I believe not only benefits women but also everyone in whole. And today we are going to be talking about financial fear, the silent stress. And joining us is Chu Wai Yin, who's an approved financial advisor from Harveston. Hello and welcome to the studio, Miss Chu. How are you today?
Hi, morning. I'm good. Hi, KG.
And you're a financial advisor and you're an approved financial advisor. Can you tell us about that? Maybe before that, we share a little bit about yourself and how did you get into this field of financial advising?
Yeah, sure. Okay. I am an accountant by profession.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so previously I was in audit. Very long nights, hard work there. Then I was in a merchant bank, and after that I ventured into financial planning industry. So I've been here for about 19 years.
Wow, that is a long time. You have seen the industry evolve,
Yes.
and also what are some of the new avenues and opportunities. So I guess that is a very, very interesting thing to do. So, but why choose to go into financial advising compared to just staying in auditing or even accounting?
Oh, okay. Very interesting question. The change mainly because of satisfaction, the job satisfaction. Well, previously I'm looking into other people's accounts, other people's finances, but what about our own personal finances? Okay, so when I engage with my friends, my clients, looking into their own finances, the satisfaction level is definitely higher. Yeah.
And because you also help them to grow, don't you?
Yes,
And,
correct.
and that's where the satisfaction comes from.
Yes.
Accounting, you just see people, this number not supposed to be here.
Yes. And probably our topic today, in when I was an auditor last time, we always look at risk of different company, the risk of our auditing methodology and all those. So I think many people, even all of us here around this room, do we actually look at our own risk? Okay, what is our financial fear? Which, probably will be one good topic to discuss.
Yep, and that is what we are talking about. And today we are also focusing on what happens if there's an illness involved over there. So, and let's talk about it. The silent stress, financial fear. What do you mean by financial fear?
Okay, probably I give you an overall view. Okay, so in financial planning, we look into 5 elements of financial planning. Okay, financial fear being the first. Financial obligation. Every one of us have obligation.
Yeah.
Okay, to our parents or our kids. Commitment. Another area, the third area. Mortgages, car loans. Okay, financial dream will be the fourth area. Dream about good retirement. Okay, dream about lifestyle. Okay, and the last one, financial wishes, which sometime last year, I think I came to the station before to share about legacy planning, will writing.
Yes.
So those will be our financial wishes. So last year I came and I said it's a taboo. People say, hey, talk about will, touch wood. Okay, so this year, now I'm talking about financial fear, which a lot of people is also trying to avoid the question. The fear is there, but they try to avoid that.
I don't know, but I feel like it's a very Asian thing, to be very afraid of finance and like money. You cannot share with people, cannot talk with people. Your friend cannot know how much you earn. You cannot write will because then later you're asking them to go up, is it? Even in my own family, I gotta tell you, like I've told my parents before when I think about a few years ago, you know what, y'all should write a will just in case because there are 3 brothers and we don't want things to go weird. And also, for instance, if you pass on without a will, sometimes certain assets will be held back and then they'll need to have this, need to have that. But then they were like, hey, why are you telling me all this? Why you want my money so bad, is it? So that's the kind of questions that they go. But also writing down wills and all that, it's essentially just making life easy, isn't it?
Yes, correct.
Right, so financial fear is what we are focusing on today. I mean, we're supposed to take a break now, but I think we can continue for a bit.
Sure.
How do we manage financial risk?
Okay, when we are talking about risk, what is it actually? Okay, the question is, risk will be uncertainty because the fear will be there if there's uncertainty, potential for loss. So my next question to everyone out there is, who move your wealth? Okay, imagine today if you have 100,000, 200,000, half a million in the bank, what is it or who will touch this money? Okay, so if we are able to identify that, then we can manage that properly. Okay, so for example, people say, oh, what if I have no job? I will need to touch into my saving.
Oh, okay. That's what you mean by touch. I thought you were like putting it to other people, but that's what you mean by touch.
Yes. The uncertainty. Okay, for example, if you walk out there, the tree fall on you, which we
Can
had a case
happen.
recently, airplane crash on you. I mean, all these things we categorize that as accident. Okay, that will definitely affect financially. Will it? Yes, of course it will. Okay. Of course, you say illnesses is one of it. Okay, probably we can discuss more on this today.
Yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about a lot.
And yes, and of course, people say I sign personal guarantor for people. Simply sign. Oh, that will really affect financially. Okay.
Yeah,
anything
true.
happen.
Because you cannot trust people sometimes.
Yes.
There needs to be an exit clause. Even if you're doing good for people, there needs to be an exit clause. Right.
Correct.
What is healthcare planning? Because that's the focus of our topic today. You're going to be talking about that. What is healthcare planning in terms of financial management?
Okay. That will be an interesting topic to discuss today. When we talk about financial risk, healthcare play a very, very important aspect. Okay, in handling that. Okay, healthcare we talk about from prevention. Okay, so we want to prevent. We don't want to fall sick.
Yeah,
Okay,
true,
healthy
true.
living. Okay, so medical checkup every year. I'm sure a lot of people are doing that. Then what about diagnosis? Okay, if we are diagnosed with something, okay, and the treatment, there comes the cost of it. Okay, if we are not able to manage that, of course it will eat up into our savings. Okay, and I would love to dwell into this post-recovery. Okay, diagnosis and treatment, I'm sure a lot of people out there are aware that medical insurance can cover it. Okay, medical insurance, if and everyone can do a review. Currently, we have 1 million annual limit, up to 10 million, even 30 million annual limit, okay, out there in the market. So that should be sufficient to cover the hospital cost, the treatment, and the diagnosis. So the question is post-recovery, the recovery phase, okay? How are we going to manage that?
Right. So can you give us some examples of the situation that you're talking about? Like what can happen?
Okay, what can happen? So post-recovery, for example, if I take stroke, okay, or heart attack, a stroke or heart attack patient probably not mobile. Okay, they might need nursing care. Okay, that wouldn't be covered under the hospital cost.
Yeah, because that is not the direct cost. Yeah.
Correct. Or like cancer. Well, I would say statistically, since this is a W talk, highest cancer for women is breast cancer, ovary. Okay, cervical cancer, colon cancer is also one of the highest rank. Okay, so when these are diagnosed, treated, okay, the post-recovery, what will happen? Okay, so I do have a lot of friends or examples around me. They change their lifestyle. They go for organic food. They go for more alkaline-based food, water. All these need money. Okay, and of course the supplements that they need, all these need money. Okay, so financially we will need to plan for that.
All right. And what we're going to do right now, we're going to take a short break, because once we come back, we're going to talk about cancer treatment and such, and how can financial management actually help out in that particular aspect, and also talk about the cost. And to our listeners out there, if you have any questions regarding the topic today, we are talking about financial fear, the silent stress, and if you have any questions, you can let us know. We're currently speaking to Chu Wai Yin, who's an approved financial advisor from Harveston, and we will be back after this song. Welcome back to W Talk. Today we are talking about financial fear, the silent stress. Our guest being Chu Hua Yin, who's an approved financial advisor from Harveston. Now, financial fear is also part of financial management. And recently I actually read a news, Ms. Chu. There's this family in Singapore. They lost their husband at the docks, and the Singapore government paid them out about $1 million, right? Which is a lot of money, right? But they burned through it within a year. And then they are back to having the financial fear because they don't have the proper financial management, and that is money that they could use to maintain the family over time. But now they are back to not being able to afford even food. So that is a financial fear part of it, right?
Yes, yes,
Mhm.
yes.
All right. So before we move on with the cost for cancer treatment and the such, and to see exactly how much it will cost a standard family, let's talk about, in your line as a financial advisor, what are some common mistakes that you have seen people make, especially during health crisis with financial management?
Okay. During health crisis, okay, what will people go through? Okay, usually, I do have family members, relative, very close to me, getting cancer. Okay,
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
what do they survive and pass the remission period? Okay, thank goodness.
Thank goodness, yes.
Yes. But during the time, what will be the crisis that going on in their mind or in the family? Okay, of course, treatment. So there will be choices of treatment. Okay, what kind of treatment to do after the removal, whether to go for chemotherapy, radiotherapy, or the alternative kind of therapy now that cancer treatment offer. Even go to Singapore to ask for second opinion. Okay, so if financially it is well managed or planned for, we have the option. Okay, if not, there is no option but to go for probably a government hospital. Okay, so recently I also heard of another friend who got breast cancer, but because there is no coverage, no medical insurance, and the private doctor say your expenses will be 300,000 if you are in private hospital. No choice, have to go to government hospital for it. Okay, so in terms of crisis, we will be worried of our own health, okay, and go for what kind of treatment to go for. So we do not want the financial burden that restrain us from getting the proper
care.
treatment that we want.
Right.
Yeah.
So you would say that one of the most common mistakes would be not being prepared for it.
Correct.
You need to be prepared, because we cannot say that, only they will get. Only they will get. There are chances that you would get as well.
Correct.
So prepare for it. And what are some preparations they can do? So just in case they don't undergo this health kind of crisis.
Some preparation. So as I mentioned, when we talk about the topic of getting insured, so you see, this is part of a risk transfer. Okay, you transfer your own risk to an insurance company so that they cover you financially. Okay, which is a very smart move, because you do not want to fork out 300,000 out of your pocket if anything happens. Okay, so I would say that is one good way that we can transfer risk. Okay, so in that sense, what would we be planning to do? Getting an insurance coverage. Okay, getting a sufficient medical coverage. Okay, that is part of the plan. And ensure that the cost of the hospital is covered. And like I mentioned, the post-discharge, ensure that there is sufficient covered. Okay, so post-discharge, probably, if you want, I can elaborate further on the recovery phase. Apart from just now when I mentioned the nursing care, okay, the supplements, the change of lifestyle, we will need to think of, are we able to work after that? That is one area that you mentioned. If you're not able to work as a breadwinner of the family, how will the family survive?
Yes, you need to have contingency plans for that already.
Correct.
All right. And we were going to talk about the cost for cancer treatment. Maybe you could talk about that as well.
Okay. So the cost, in-hospital cost, hopefully everyone out there have something simple, a medical coverage. Okay, that should be covered by the medical coverage. Okay, so cost, you say removal of an organ, liver cancer, or even breast cancer, probably that can go up to 300,000. So I do have a friend gotten leukemia. Okay, expenses in the hospital is like 400,000 for 2 months itself.
Wow.
Okay, before even the bone marrow transplant and all those. So the cost can go, very high depending on the stage of your cancer, depending on what kind of illness that you get. Okay, and of course, you say chemotherapy and radiotherapy thereafter. Okay, so that is one cost to take into account. So if there is no planning for that, or if someone is not able to transfer the risk out, that is where you have to plan your own finances and set aside enough funds for that in the bank. Okay, so is that wise to do it? Set aside 300,000 or $500,000 in the bank just for that contingency?
So it's better to always transfer the risk.
Yes, of course, of course.
So, and you would suggest transferring the risk by getting a proper insurance coverage plan.
Correct. Yes.
All right. So we spoke a bit about the non-hospital expenses earlier. Are there any more that you would like to talk about?
Okay, so non-hospital expenses, like I mentioned just now, the income replacement.
Income replacement. And what options are there out there for them to have for income replacement?
Okay, so you see, if a person is not able to work, okay, what are their essential expenses? So this is what I always go through with my clients, okay? What are their essential expenses? How much is it? How long they need to, how long can they sustain with the amount that they have, okay? Without touching the funds they need for their children's education or retirement, okay, that should be set aside. But if they are not working, how long can they sustain? Okay, so that figure will be important for us to calculate and to get an income replacement. For example, a critical illness coverage that pays out that lump sum to sustain, let's say, 5 years or 10 years of life, depending on what illnesses. Like, for example, kidney failure, you need dialysis. That is a lifelong treatment, okay, and you will not be able to work full-time, lifelong.
Yes.
Okay, so 10 years might not even be enough. Okay, so as a rule of thumb, I would go about 5 to 10 years, sufficient to cover expenses for that. Okay, so maybe I can give you 2 scenarios. Okay, imagine if one with, let's say, a cancer, okay, with a payout of 100,000, okay, from insurance and from whatever funds you have 100,000, and another person with 1 million. You can imagine the lifestyle
Will be very different.
Okay,
Yeah.
1 million probably can cover the next 10 years. Let's say, for example. Okay, the one with 100,000, they will still be worried of, am I still able to work after that? I will still need to work after that.
Yes.
Right.
Even after the sickness.
Even after the sickness, how long can 100,000 cover?
At 100,000, maybe even 2 years is a stretch.
Okay, so that is if your expenses is 50,000 a year.
Yeah.
Right.
And 50,000 a year, that just comes out to about 4,000 ringgit a month.
Yes. It wouldn't be even enough for kids' education and whatnot.
Yeah.
Okay, so if so I have seen proper planning, of course my clients with proper planning, with 1 million on hand, I just take a ballpark figure, with 1 million on hand, well, the person can say, I will take a step back. People will view life differently once they have
A life-threatening disease.
Life-threatening disease, okay? They might say, what for the stress in work?
Yeah, true.
Right.
I'm already asking that question now.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's not that I don't want to work, but I want more laid-back work, probably. I want to do a little bit more charity. People will view life differently, really.
True.
Okay, so what will be the option? So if you have that finances in hand, you have more option in terms of navigating and make sure your family is well taken care of.
Yeah, because even sometimes they say, even in death, make sure that your responsibilities are settled, right?
Correct.
Yeah. And how should one plan and budget for these expenses and all that? Like, for instance, what like you spoke about transferring risk and all that. Like, how should one plan and budget for all of this?
Probably I will take a perspective from the government. Okay, we have tax relief for that. Okay, so tax relief, government is giving 3,000 relief for life insurance, which now extended to cover for kids as well.
Yeah.
And we have 3,000 for education and medical expenses. So all in 6,000. Okay, is that sufficient? Yes and no. Okay, depending on your level of income, I would say.
Yeah.
Okay, of course, if higher earning group, your expenses will be higher. Okay, with a 6,000 per annum kind of premium, the coverage might not be sufficient. Okay, so as a rule of thumb, I will take gross salary 10%.
Okay, all right.
Okay, that is as a rule of thumb. Okay, of course, if you ask me from my experience, people go about 7-8% and try to gear up towards it. Okay, so 10% should be the rule of thumb of gross salary. Okay, so imagine, maybe I can elaborate more. Gross salary will be before tax,
Everything.
before EPF. Just the
Whatever comes in lah.
not whatever comes in. What comes in will be net.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Okay, so gross. Okay, so you get your full salary. 10% of it will go to EPF, 11%.
Yeah.
Okay, and taxes and all those.
Oh.
Roughly, I would say, try to control expenses to about 50-60%. Okay, try to control that. All right, let's say 60% expenses. Okay, 10% goes to EPF, 10% goes to getting proper coverage. Okay, and 20% for investment, for donation, for self-development. All right, that should be a healthy expenses. Okay, so why do we say 10%? Okay, as a cost to get a proper coverage? Imagine 10% to cover 90% of what you're earning. Okay, that should be the proper, I would say, mindset when we come to financial planning. Okay, imagine if you don't have the 10%, your 100% of your income is not secure. Okay, so you have to allocate that 10% to secure the 90% of what you're earning.
All right. That is actually a very good way of putting it, because many people don't understand that. We are not future looking enough. We don't see what could happen and how it could happen. And of course, there are options out there, and they could meet with financial advisors just like you to be able to understand that these are the options available. But like, so for instance, if someone's earning 5,000 ringgit, so 500 ringgit should be put into anything that can help them recover their pay in the event of a loss.
Yes, correct.
All right. Okay, so as easy as that. 10% of whatever you earn, make sure that you either buy, risk transfer products or programs or something like that, and insurance and savings and things like that, right? All right. So how about before we move on, one more question. I think we've already spoke about that how much money should one allocate just for healthcare. I think 10% is a good number there, right? Right. So that would bring us to the end of our interview for today. But what would your word of wisdom to women be about finance and financial management, especially managing risk and fear?
Okay. Women's role, okay? I would say maybe I divide into two groups, working and non-working.
Oh, yes,
Right.
yes.
If non-working female taking care of household, which a lot of mothers out there are, I would say, sacrificing their working experience in terms of taking care of household. So for them, they are important. Okay, so they need to make sure first the husband is properly covered if anything happens, because that is where the direct income comes from. Okay, so make sure that is properly covered for the family. Okay, hence they won't need to come back out to the workforce if anything happened to the husband.
Yeah, that would be a complete lifestyle change.
Yes, correct. Number two, for them, because they are the primary caretaker at home for kids, usually non-working mothers are taking care of children at home. Their coverage is also very important. Their planning is also very important, because why? If they are not able to be there to take care of kids, if they are going through recuperation and life-changing event, who will be there to take care of kids? Probably they will need to hire nanny or alternative care, okay, for their kids and for their household. Okay, so for non-working group of women, they need to take care of that. Okay, for working group of women, I would say a lot of women nowadays, they are very independent. Okay, they work. Probably they have different separate finances from their husband.
Yeah.
Okay, so what they need to do first is to plan for themselves. Okay, if anything happens to themselves, whether they are financially secure without relying on husband, or some people I heard rely on parents because parents are rich. Okay, so you do not want the how to say, the burden to fall on other people. So take care of yourself first. And of course, if you have a family and working, your husband, your kids, you must also make sure that they are well taken care of, well planned. If not, it will be your responsibility because they are your loved ones.
True that. And as you said, I'm very happy that you broke it up into two, because now your advice could work for either parties. And there is a lot of different nuances and niches that, like for instance, women who are not working and women who are working will have to face. And But all of the advice that he gave today, I don't think it's only applicable to women. It's applicable to everyone.
Yes.
And I think financial management is one of the key aspects that everyone needs to understand now. And just look at the world out there. There's so many people who are supposed to be retired who are still working because the financial management is just not there.
Correct.
All right. Before we end, anything else that you would like to add for our listeners, Chu?
I would say reach out to proper approved financial planner. Okay, you take a step back out from your busy schedule every day. Okay, work out your cash flow. Like I mentioned just now, the 60%, 10%, okay, and then the extra 20% for your investment and all those. Work that out, okay? So make sure keep your expenses within means. Don't spend above your means. And from there, you will know how much is your essential expenses and how to plan for that. Take that first step, okay? And reach out to a proper and approved financial planner. Do a thorough review of what your plan is, because I have seen people, the parents bought something for the kid since young, and now they are 20 years old, and that is probably obsolete, okay, or irrelevant, or probably doesn't have a full comprehensive planning for that. Okay, so do take a look, take some time out. I would say an independent financial advisor will be very helpful, okay, because like us, I mean, we are unbiased. Okay, we are able to give an independent advice based on whatever is out there suitable for the needs.
All right. And with that, thank you so much, Ms. Chu Hua Yin, and absolute pleasure talking to you today. I think I've understood a little bit more about financial management today, and it will be helpful.
Thank you.
When I become very rich, I know who to find.
Don't need to be very rich. You might have to start planning.
I will find you next week then.
Thank you very much.
Have a good one. And that was, of course, Chu Hua Yin, and she's an approved financial advisor with Harveston, and we spoke about financial fear, the silent stress. Don't let it get to you, right? Go meet an approved financial advisor as soon as possible. Right now, let's come back with the music. This is Trax.